women are not always innocent. In fact, some played a far darker role than you might think. Behind the brutality of medieval punishments, there were women who weren't just victims. They were enforcers, decision-makers, and even executioners. Let's uncover some of the shocking roles women played during one of the darkest times in history. In medieval Europe, execution was often a family business. If an executioner died, his wife or daughter had to step up, or let their family starve. For instance, in 16th century France, Charlotte de Montpensier was said to have taken on the role of executioner after her husband's death. Women like her were feared for their cold efficiency in carrying out sentences of death, often wielding the axe just as ruthlessly as their male counterparts. The witch trials of the Middle Ages weren't just carried out by men. Women played a crucial, yet hidden role in deciding who lived and who burned. In Salem, Massachusetts, during the infamous trials of 1692, and Putnam Jr., a young woman, was one of the key accusers, and her testimony led to the deaths of dozens. She wasn't alone. Alongside her, other women like Mary Walcott and Abigail Williams played active roles in accusing and condemning their neighbors, often out of fear or personal grudges. In Trier, Germany, during the witch trials of the late 1500s, women like Katharina Merz were responsible for accusing their fellow townspeople of witchcraft, a charge that could lead to brutal punishments, including torture and death. These women often had personal grudges, or were simply trying to climb the social ladder, using the witch trials to settle scores. Not all medieval punishments were about blood. Some were about control. The Scold's Bridle was a horrifying device used to silence unruly women. But here's the twist, it was often other women who pushed for it. However, not every woman upheld the system. Some learned how to use it to destroy their enemies. In England, during the reign of Queen Mary I, women like Jane Grey found themselves victims of power plays. Mary's cousin, Elizabeth I, learned how to outmaneuver her enemies by using witch trials to remove rivals, sometimes involving women like Lady Catherine Grey, who was trapped in royal plots. These women used accusations of witchcraft as a way to gain revenge or eliminate rivals, all the while securing their own positions of power. We think of medieval judges as powerful men, but behind the scenes, women often pulled the strings. Isabella of Castile, who reigned in the 15th century, was known for her ruthless role in the Spanish Inquisition, overseeing the persecution of Jews, Muslims, and heretics. She wasn't alone. Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine, though not involved in witch trials, held considerable sway in medieval courts, influencing decisions and shaping policies, often using her power to make or break a life. History often paints medieval women as powerless. But the truth are, some were far from innocent. They enforced the laws, punished the weak, and in some cases, made sure justice was served. And in places like Trier, Salem, and Castile, they weren't just following orders. They were calling the shots. So the next time you hear about medieval justice, ask yourself, who was really pulling the strings? Like and follow for more.